Balake. Where is Balake at?
My name's Blake.
Do you want to go to war, Balake? I'm for real. Ron.
Ron is right here, everyone. Welcome back for more SPTV, where every day is a great day not to be in a cult. Guys, I got to make sure not to be too animated in this video today because any slightest movement makes my cord unplug from my microphone, and then it automatically mutes, and then it takes like 20 seconds to reconnect. So I'm going to try to control myself and all of my gesticulating that I normally do. I'm at least not going to hit my desk. Guys, I love when my favorite worlds collide. And today we're talking about the world where I expose Scientology and Scientologists who are liars and fraudsters and con men and grifters like Grant Cardone. It's still amazing how many people on the internet do not know Grant Cardone is one of the highest level Scientologists that you can be. He is Tom Cruise level high as far as Scientology's bridge to total freedom. That level is OT8, operating Thetan level 8. And not only is Grant Cardone an OT8, he is presently one of the #1 recruiters for Scientology, which is, of course, a human trafficking cult. He's also one of its biggest donors. He's donated close to $10 million, if not $10 million, somewhere around that $7 to $10 million. Now, so that's one world. That's my world. That's the world. That's this world. And then there's my YouTube world, just the YouTube world in general. One of YouTube's biggest, most respected creators. His name's Charlie. He's also known as Moist Critikal. He's got a funny name for his YouTube channel. His YouTube channel is called Penguin Z0, but he's got a funny reason why that was just the name of his channel since he was a kid. He's a young man. I believe he's only like 29 years old. Massive YouTube creator. And he dropped a video yesterday that's already got over 1 million views calling Grant Cardone a con man. Now, guys, I've got to share this with you because, as you know, I am scheduled to be deposed in August for a lawsuit that Grant Cardone has brought against John Legere, the famous former CEO of T-Mobile. He was the star of all the T-Mobile commercials. I'm trying to remember how long ago was this, but there's only so many publicly traded CEOs of publicly traded companies who put themselves in their company's commercials. John Legere was one of those guys, and he wore the pink T-Mobile colors in all the commercials and everything. Anyway, the guy, John Legere, hugely respected in the business world, hugely successful CEO of a publicly traded company, former CEO of a publicly traded company. John Legere publicly called out Grant Cardone for being a fraud. He did this in a Clubhouse chat. Clubhouse is an app that became popular during the lockdowns. John Legere called Grant Cardone a fraud. Ooh, and he did it viciously. And then I did a video about John Legere calling Grant Cardone a fraud. Now, unfortunately, the video that I did about it, if I'm being honest, does seem to be a big part of the reason that Grant Cardone ended up suing John. So when all this lawsuit was going down and news of it broke, I offered that I would be more than happy to help in any little way that I might be able to help in the lawsuit by being deposed for exactly how Grant Cardone is a fraud, a liar, a grifter, a con man, and just how his support of Scientology, never mind all of his other business dealings, just how his support of Scientology makes him all of those things. So I have to wonder whether Charlie knows that Grant Cardone is suing John Legere for calling him a fraud. And it just feels so timely. And I feel like Charlie, deserves a big thank you for being yet another person willing to come forward and just be like, this guy's an absolute liar. And so let's see here. We're going to be doing a bunch of video sharing. First, we're going to look at Charlie's video. I've got a bunch of timestamps here. I'm going to show you different sections of it. And then I'm going to ask you guys to let me know, because I'm going to play for you after we play Charlie's video. I'm going to play for you the video of John Legere calling out Grant Cardone as a fraud. And just let me know. It almost makes me wonder, maybe Charlie should also be subpoenaed to a deposition of just how exactly Grant Cardone is a fraud. Maybe all of the biggest people on YouTube who have publicly called Grant Cardone out as a fraud, of which, guys, there's a lot of them. I'm probably one of the smallest channels who's called Grant Cardone a fraud. Maybe all of YouTube's biggest personalities who have publicly called Grant Cardone a fraud, maybe they would all be more than happy to sit down on the record, under oath, in a deposition to detail exactly all the ways in which Scientology's biggest recruiter and one of their biggest donors is, in fact, a fraud. Okay, let's jump into this, guys. First, I'm going to start at the end and just give you this nice little clip right here.
This entire page, Grant Cardone's entire online
I guess I should stop playing it on 2x speed. Here we go.
career. And yet, this entire page, Grant Cardone's entire online career is built around selling this kind of nonsensical idea. Oh, it's so easy. Everyone can be rich. Just give me money and I'll unlock the secrets for you. And then the secret is basically, hey, don't be poor. Invest in real estate at 15 years old with your $300 a month allowance. What, you guys weren't doing that already? It's so easy. Come on. But anyway, I just wanted to shoot some spitballs at Grant Cardone a little bit here today. That's really about it.
Yeah.
See ya.
When your entire body of work is giving advice that you know not to be true, do you know what that sounds like to me? That sounds like you're a fraud. Okay, let's go back. We're going to go back to 000 in this video, the super beginning, where Charlie gives a bit of a comment on
I love TikTok.
The space that Grant occupies in general. So let's take a look at this.
Finance gurus. It's this beautiful cornucopia of cringe where they offer some of the worst advice you'll ever hear. Sometimes it's even just blatant to try and make you lose as much money as possible. Other times it's to promote some kind of scam where you pay them for mumbo jumbo. That one always just blows my mind because you are actually failing step one of being more financially independent by just wasting money on a guy who is actually just using you as a little piggy bank to exploit by telling you things that you want to hear, whispering sweet nothings into your ear that are going to do nothing but have you keep paying him so you can keep suckling on his bosom of nonsense. Though,
guys, this is one of the reasons Charlie is so huge on YouTube and people sort of look up to him and respect him. It's because of his way of seeing through the BS and describing it in such a no nonsense way. It's so appealing. Okay, now the next clip, he's about to show and comment on one of the most embarrassing things Grant Cardone has said publicly recently. Here we go.
Those always fascinate me. Today I want to focus on an outrageously stupid lesson that a finance guru tried to teach recently. This comes from Grant Cardone, whom I'm not overly familiar with. I've seen a couple of his seminars because he always gets clowned on pretty much any time he opens his mouth. I'll go ahead and show you his most infamous clip from 2 years ago.
If I made 400 grand a year, I would be embarrassed with myself as a husband, a father, basically as a human being. $400 grand. How do you make sense of $35,000 a month? You guys haven't done the math. You have not done the math because you cannot live on 400 grand a year.
Probably one of the most out of touch statements I've ever heard. That's up there.
My God, you guys, you can't live on 400 grand. I believe in that clip, Grant goes on to say his jet burns more than $400,000 of fuel a year. He might have even said a month. I can't remember. It was one of those things. Okay, so that we're going to jump forward to 218 where, well, let's see what Charlie has to say.
Please. The shit he's spouting is so over the top that I think it's pretty obvious that he doesn't actually believe any of it. $35,000 a month he claims you can't live off of. The fucking citizens of Narnia would recognize that that's a ton of money to be living off of, and they wouldn't even be familiar with our currency. So the point is, he's just saying the things he thinks people want to hear from this audience in order to try and make money off of them.
Do you know what I call someone who just says what they think the audience wants to hear in order to make money off of them, and it's not actually genuine and sincere? That's a con man. That is a fraud. That is a liar. That is a grifter. Okay, so let's jump forward to 257 and let's see what Charlie has to say there.
I'll tell you one thing. Grant Cardone is not giving you the tools to improve your financial situation. He's actually just making it worse for you because you're paying him. It's like you are losing money to get nothing in return. There's no value in any of the lessons I've ever seen him teach, especially not the one that I really want to focus on today.
Every 15-year-old kid should be doing this right now. If you're getting an allowance of $300 a month, buy a piece of real estate that pays you $30 a month. Only use the 30, don't touch the 300.
But how would a young, normal person get money?
Allowance, side jobs, side hustles. I was 14 years old. I was working every weekend. I was mowing lawns, doing whatever I could to get some extra money.
Hey, pal, you just blow in from Stupid Town? It's actually impressive just how much dog shit he was able to fit in only 20 seconds. That is an achievement that he was able to drivel out so much trash in only 20 seconds. There's like a million.
Okay. I have the next timestamp at 4:32. Let's just see what he says here.
Grant, as a 15-year-old, how are you going to start investing in real estate with $300 a month? You're never going to get approved for a loan as a 15-year-old that is getting $300 a month as an allowance. It's not even tied to a fucking job. So good luck finding any reputable place that's going to give you a loan for real estate. You are also 15 years old, so you can't even legally purchase real estate without someone co-signing with you.
Okay, he goes on to explain all of the reasons which none of this advice is real, workable, implementable, actionable. It's actually, it's part of Grant is now extending his empire of fraud, and he's extending it to his daughter. And he's propping up his daughter as a guru, as a financial guru for teenagers, just like Grant Cardone has propped himself up as a financial guru for people who don't know any better. Now, this is one of the things that I find so interesting about Charlie commenting on someone like Grant Cardone, because Charlie actually reaches the audience that Grant Cardone is trying to reach by doing content with his daughter and having his daughter build up a channel and stuff like that. Charlie's audience skews much younger. And that's why when I see other creators who have different audiences than me doing this kind of content, I go, thank God. My audience skews surprisingly old. Relatively speaking, I'm not reaching teenagers. I'm not reaching kids in their young 20s or young adults in their young 20s. You guys might be interested to know this. YouTube gives you fantastic analytics on the back end for your audience. So only 2.2% of my audience is 24 years old or younger. 9% of my audience is 25 to 34. 18% of my audience is 35 to 44. So I guess 9, 10, 11, 89% of my audience is 35 or older, right? So I'm not going to be able to reach the people who Grant Cardone and his daughter are reaching. But you know who can? Charlie can. Okay, so let's see. That is at 4:56. The next item, the next timestamp is 5:47. And this to me, this is core. Let's see what he says here. Oh, let me get this right. Okay.
You can't do this. It's impossible. It's actually impossible. And Grant Cardone is a real estate multimillionaire. He knows this, but he thinks everyone that follows him is a stupid fucking bumbling Neanderthal. And he might be right, I guess, if anyone actually thinks this is legitimate advice that he spouts out of his fucking mouth. This is so foul. It's so wrong. It's unbelievable.
Okay, I'm just going to pause the timestamp right there. Because on my timestamps, I have a lot of them where they begin, but I didn't mark where they were supposed to end. Do you know what I call someone who gives advice that they know isn't correct or true or actionable? I call them a con man, especially since they're selling that advice. If you only do X, Y, and Z, you can become just like me or just as successful as me. If you know that's not true, and you're selling seminars where that's basically all you're saying, and you're selling courses where you're guaranteeing that's the result, you're a con man. Okay, so let's see. That was 6:09. The next timestamp here is 6:45. And here we go.
It's actually incredible how often the financial guru advice boils down to step 1, start rich, or step 1, don't be poor. And he's even brainwashed his own daughter. Like, she does some videos on his TikTok page, and I'm not here to like insult her or anything. It's definitely not her fault. She's like 15 years old, but her father has really convinced her that this is like a normal thing that every kid has access to. So she posted a video about how she's going to be a millionaire before she's 20. and gave advice to kids her own age on how to accomplish a similar feat.
I'm going to be a millionaire before I'm 20, and this is how. I work for my dad's company. I have a contract with them, and I get paid every month. That money then goes into real estate, where I get some passive income I get to go spend.
I'm just going to stop it right there because the entire tutorial is I work for my dad's company. That's how I'm going to be a millionaire by the time I'm 20. And it's not like she really works for the company. She gets an allowance from her father, which is like 50 grand a year, at least according to TikTok, where he's giving her like bonuses based on performance of TikTok videos. So the advice is literally be born to a rich family. Like, that's not something most people can follow. 99% of the population is going to fail step one there because they literally can't just work for their dad's multi-million-dollar company. It's not feasible. And yet this entire page, Grant Cardone's entire online career is built around selling this kind of nonsensical idea. Oh, it's so easy. Everyone can be rich. Just give me money and I'll unlock the secrets for you. And then the secret is basically, hey, don't be poor. Invest in real estate at 15 years old with your $300 a month allowance. What you got?
Exactly. His entire operation is based on selling bullshit advice and instructions that he knows is not how he did it. It's not replicatable. The advice that he's giving doesn't get you to where he says it's going to get you. That's what I call a fraud. Okay, now let's see. Okay, so that's Charlie. That's everything Charlie had to say. Super fascinating stuff. Let's see what John Legere had to say about Grant Cardone. Now, I want to say, I say it was in public, and it was in public in the sense that Clubhouse is an app that anyone can get on. It's not a pay. You don't have to pay to get on this thing. But when John Legere said what he said to Grant Cardone, it was probably in front of a few hundred people who were listening to it. But then this thing got out. I published it. Other people published it. It became a much bigger deal than it otherwise would have been. But let's see if let's see if John Legere, let me know what you guys think. Do you guys think that what John Legere said to Grant Cardone was meaningfully worse than what Charlie just said? All right, let me share this. Here we go. That's John Legere on the right. You guys might recognize him. Let's hear this, guys.
John, hey, Grant, you are the biggest bullshit artist on the planet. Okay, John, so I'll finish my statement. So Grant Cardone, who talks about being a recovering addict, and if you look at his posts, they are constantly him holding wine and whiskey and everything else. So Grant, are you a recovering addict or are you just a drunk?
I had a drug problem. I never had a drinking problem.
Hey, by the way, he asked Grant if he was a drunk. That's a question.
Hey, Grant, how much of the world sees a bifurcation between a drug issue and an alcohol issue?
What do you know about addiction?
I know quite a bit.
I've never had a problem with alcohol.
You talk about my life and my recovery and the whole deal, but you're out drinking.
Yeah, I don't have a problem with it.
Well, I think the world might have a problem with your story, Grant.
Why are you trying to diminish everybody in the room?
No, just you, Grant, because you're a fucking con man. I'll say this on this room right now. I believe that in the next year, Grant Cardone will be found guilty of fraud. I believe that Grant Cardone will be found guilty of fraud, and I want nothing to do with it.
John, do you know of anybody that I have been fraudulent to?
I think you're a fake, somebody that says I used to be an addict, and I think you're fake. That's my opinion.
But thank you. But you've never done business with me. You've never given me.
And I wouldn't do business with you, Grant. You've been begging me to do business with you for 5 years, and I won't.
I don't think I've ever offered you any money to do anything or any partnership.
By the way, he's not a billionaire.
Yep.
He doesn't have close to $1 billion. And he is somebody.
How do you know?
Somebody here. He's somebody who is self-promoting. And if you go to the world, go to the world of CNBC, go to CNN, go to the world, ask about Grant Cardone. He doesn't exist.
How do you know what I'm worth, John?
How do I know what you're spending under the radar to live your lifestyle?
How do you know where my money comes from? You don't know anything about me financially? Just admit that, John.
So how much you paying to the church, Grant?
John, John, what does that matter?
How much you paying to the church?
John, what do you know about me financially? You just said you just made a bunch of claims about
I don't
what
know.
I am.
Hey, what I know, Grant, is that you say all the time you're a billionaire, that you have $4 billion. So, in real estate, do you? Are you a billionaire?
John, what do you know about my
Here's
finances?
your chance. Here's your chance, Grant. Are you a billionaire?
I don't need a
yes
chance
or no?
with you. You're the
Are
one
you
that's
a
coming in
billionaire?
here.
Tell the group. Hey, Grant, your profile says you're a billionaire. Are you a billionaire?
John, I'm not going to even answer your questions right now.
Are you? Are you close?
Until you answer some of mine, I'm not going to answer yours, okay?
Let the group know that a very simple statement is Grant Cardone a billionaire? Yes or no? He won't answer.
Well, it'd be hard for me to state that. I don't know how I could state that publicly and it not be true without having banks come back and say, bro, what are you doing?
So you know what the answer is, Grant? You're not.
John,
assets versus debt. With a market at 7% mortgage rates, how you doing?
John, I'm doing great. How do you know?
You say all the time you're a billionaire. You say it all the time, but you're not, and you won't say it.
How do you know that, John?
It's good. Yes or no? Grant Cardone, are you a billionaire?
John, how do you know?
There you go. Come on, that says it all it means, Grant.
Okay, let me ask
you're
you
a big talker. You're a big talker. So let everybody know the answer was not yes.
John, did you say in this room that I am fraudulently using funds?
Oh, here you go.
From accredited
and
non-accredited
blah,
investors?
blah, blah. Here we go, Grant. How stupid do you think I am?
I think you said that, John. Did you mean
what,
that?
Grant? What did I say, Grant? Do you want to ask your lawyer to ask the question more specifically? Just have him write it down. Have him write it down and send it to me.
Do you believe that I have been fraudulent with my investors?
You know what, Grant? I believe
you don't believe that. You don't believe that.
I believe you are a con man of the highest order.
And you understand my business depends on my reputation and on presenting to the public.
Okay. This is con man number 101. Try to find a little legal issue. Grant, I believe you're a con man. That's my personal belief. Hey, Grant, are you going to sick the church? Are you going to sick the church on me now? Because I know the church has a big issue with people that are anti, big players like you. Hey, and are you not the biggest contributor to the church, or no? Is the Top Gun guy still ahead of you?
Why do you attack people's religion, man? I don't understand.
It's not religion. It's part of it's the whole spiel. I do understand that the church will attack those that attack you. Is this part of that?
John, man, bro, you got to get some help, pal. I'm surprised that you would tell hundreds of people in a public room that I steal investors' money when in fact we delivered $22 million in cash this year and almost $400 million over the last 4 years.
And my opinion is you're a fraud.
Yeah. And what about the fraud? What about the I stole money from investors?
My opinion is, Grant, is you're a fucking fraud. Go ahead. Tell the church to come get me, Grant.
Tonight.
And Grant, how do you think that's going to play in your big opinion about yourself and what people think about you if you're going to go and have this conversation? He said I'm a fraud. So if you're that tenuous, you're a fraud, Grant.
Okay, thank you, man.
Good. Can't wait to see you leave now. Go ahead. Take your tail between your legs and head out the door.
What a legend. There you have it, guys. Now, I mean, he went pretty hard in the paint there. So, but let me know in the live chat, guys, or in the comments down below for the replay crew. Was what John said even much worse than what Charlie said? It sure is. Hell is not anything worse than what I've said on my channel. But of course, Grant is suing John Legere to try to put a head on a pike, to try to make an example out of him, to try to silence other people on YouTube who call him out as being a fraud, which is why I just thought it was amazing. It was epic. It was timely that one of the biggest, most respected guys on the platform, as far as just calling out things for no nonsense in a clear-cut way, called Grant Cardone a fraud. And that video has already racked up almost 1.5 million views in less than 24 hours. I mean, hell, it seems like Grant should just run around suing everyone that calls him a fraud. And it also makes me wonder if Charlie is aware of this lawsuit, because if he were aware of it, if he's not aware of it and he becomes aware of it, I don't know. Maybe Charlie might want to do a whole video blowing Grant Cardone's lawsuit against John Legere out of the water. That would be fascinating. Guys, I talked about some of the amazing analytics that YouTube offers on the back end. Some of the other analytics that it provides tells me that 30% of the people who watch my videos every day are, in fact, not subscribed. So if you like what you see here on this channel, check down below, see if that subscribe button is hit. And if it's not, consider hitting it. It also tells me that my channel average for percentage of likes versus dislikes is 99%. I think that's pretty good, guys. So let's keep that streak going. And if you haven't hit that like button yet, do me a favor and hit that like button. Okay, I do have the lovely SPTV tattoo warrior Barbara in the back office helping me star some comments. Let's see what we're working with. Rabbit Flea, is that you? Is that you, Rabbit? The dealership I used to work at used to demand participation in Grant Cardone trainings, or we could lose our jobs. Grant Cardone's trainings were just regurgitations of the same information using a thesaurus. Super interesting. Molly Sargent, thank you for gifting a channel membership. Xenu Golf Club, come on FBI, Cardone should be in jail. Kelly Copter, good to see you in the chat, Kelly. I love Penguin Zero. He's got sense. He's really fun to listen to. Sir Crepitus. Hello, everyone. I hope you're all having a blessed day. Good to see you in here, Sir Crepitus. Clearwater Chad, good to see you. Canadian girl, when are you going to do a live with Clearwater Chad? We've done many videos together as far as on the same panels, so that's at least something. Vintage Mama of 3. Haha. Say moist. I can hear Reese laughing. We need a laugh. Yes. Yes. Moist Critikal. I saw a video just even as I was preparing for this video with Charlie explaining why his YouTube channel name is what it is. I haven't heard him explain where the name Moist Critikal comes from. Peter Versianon. Okay. Is there a call-in number? I want to tell you how I was refused to turn away in New York by a Scientologist. This is not a call-in show, if that's what you mean, Peter, but you can email me at growingupinscientology@gmail.com. Okay. Looking through these. Rose Gold, welcome as a channel member for 4 months. Good to see you in here. Okay. Oh, were you called to testify for the Grant Cardone lawsuit? Yeah, my deposition is scheduled for August 15th as of right now. It'd be nice to do it earlier, but you know, whatever they want is good. Is fine with me. DDT Shoots. You want $300,000 a month by watching SPTV? Watch for my secret video, like and subscribe, and click on notifications. Yes, indeed. That would be the Grant Cardone version of SPTV. Okay, let me see. Oh, I have questions. Says, I hate to tell you this, but the teens you have in your analytics are the accounts set up by kids for their grandparents. You have no one under 21 watching your channel. Well, actually, that's what I said, though, isn't it? I do not have anyone under 21. My 13 years old to 17 years old audience is 0%. My 18 to 24 is only 2.2%. So, I mean, yeah, there's no one under the age of 18 watching my videos, for at least that's according to YouTube, at least. Okay, let's see. Scrolling through these. Oh, Peter Anderson. Grant Cardone was on Undercover Billionaire season 2. He has to be a billionaire. That's what they want you to think. Sir Crepitus gifted 10 channel memberships. Thank you so much, Sir Crepitus. I appreciate that. Okay, Cheryl, good to see you. Cheryl, one of my great moderators. He tears him a new one. it gets better the more that I listen to it. Kylie says, why can't he say that he's a billionaire? Is there something that legally prevents him from making that claim? No, but that's actually that's what John's point was. He says, you say it all the time. Is it true? He wasn't even saying you're not allowed to say it. He was just actually trying to get him to say it right there. This thing that you claim, it's part of your brand. It's part of why people listen to you, is because you claim that you are this thing. You are not really this thing. Now, I have it on relatively good authority that John is probably worth somewhere on the order of $700 million. John Legere. John knows that, so John is not himself a billionaire. John knows billionaires. Hell, I know billionaires. And John was just saying it from someone who knows what he's talking about. Grant, you're not a billionaire. You call yourself one, but are you one? And he wouldn't even say yes because he knows he's talking to someone who knows. All right, let's see. Solicitous, just looking at Grant Cardone makes me feel nauseated. Indeed. And Susie Q says, was he drinking on that call? He sounds like he might be slurring. Or is that just how he sounds? You know, I'm not sure. Sometimes, especially back in the club chat days, Grant would jump into the clubhouse chats pretty obviously, having been drinking. To my ear, it didn't sound to me like he was drunk. He doesn't he's not someone who generally slurs his words. So anyway, you can come to your own conclusions on that. Kelly Albright, the brim of that hat. Isn't it nice, guys? I love this hat. It's my 10X hat. I can't talk about Grant Cardone without donning the 10X hat. All right, guys, that is it for now. I got about 2 more videos I'm trying to do this evening, so stay tuned. Thanks for hanging out with me, guys. I'll talk to you soon.
Okay, if you want to see my rock and roll songs, click right on this guitar. And if you want to see a different one of my videos, then you could click